Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to pause for a moment and feel something deep inside. Right now, somewhere in this room, someone is carrying a burden, a pain that feels unbearable, a struggle that whispers, "You can't do this." And I want you to know something incredibly powerful. That pain, that struggle, is not here to break you. It's here to make you. Life doesn't happen to us. It happens for us. Every setback, every heartbreak, every moment you've hit the floor isn't the end. It's the beginning of your transformation. You have a choice today. You can let your pain define you, or you can harness it, fuel it, and turn it into unstoppable power. Because the truth is, the same force that has tried to knock you down has been quietly building your strength, sharpening your mind, and preparing you to rise higher than you ever imagined. And today, right here, we're going to take that first step together, from struggle to strength, from pain to power, from surviving to thriving. Are you ready to claim it? Pain and struggle are universal experiences that touch every human life, yet too often we try to ignore them, suppress them, or pretend they don't exist. The truth is, acknowledging our pain is the first and most essential step toward transforming it into power. When we face difficulty, whether it comes in the form of personal loss, professional failure, betrayal, or disappointment, there is a natural tendency to shrink, to turn away, and to believe that suffering is a sign of weakness. But that belief is a lie we tell ourselves. Struggle is not a punishment. It is a signal, a wake-up call that there is something within us ready to awaken. By confronting the reality of our challenges and refusing to hide from them, we begin to reclaim control over our lives. To recognize pain is not to dwell in it. It is to see it clearly, to name it, and to understand its origins, its impact, and its potential to shape us if we choose to engage with it consciously. Every setback carries with it a hidden lesson, a thread of insight that, when followed, can lead to growth, resilience, and transformation. The moment we stop fighting against the reality of our struggles, we create space for reflection, learning, and clarity. Struggle gives us an intimate understanding of who we are and what we are capable of enduring. It exposes our fears, tests our patience, and forces us to confront parts of ourselves we might otherwise ignore. When we accept that pain is an inevitable and essential part of the human journey, it ceases to have the power to dominate us. Instead, it becomes a tool, a mirror reflecting our capacity for courage, perseverance, and determination. Acknowledgement also builds empathy and connection. When we face our own struggles openly, we begin to see the struggles of others with greater compassion and understanding. Pain is not a solitary experience. It is a bridge between human hearts, and recognizing it in ourselves allows us to connect more deeply with those around us. In essence, acknowledging struggle transforms it from a hidden, oppressive force into an opportunity for awareness, self-discovery, and preparation for action. It allows us to stop resisting what is happening, to stop wishing life were different, and instead focus on what we can do with what we have. This recognition is the spark that ignites the shift from victimhood to empowerment, from despair to hope, and from uncertainty to clarity. By embracing the reality of pain, we lay the groundwork for transformation, setting the stage for turning our deepest challenges into the very fuel that propels us towards strength, purpose, and mastery. The way we perceive pain and struggle determines whether we remain trapped by them or rise above them. And this is where the power of mindset comes into play. Pain in itself is neutral. It is our interpretation of it that shapes our reality. When we see struggle as something to be feared, avoided, or resented, it weighs us down, limiting our potential and keeping us confined to patterns of helplessness. But when we shift our perspective and view struggle as a catalyst for growth, we begin to unlock possibilities that were previously invisible. This shift is not easy. It requires deliberate effort, self-awareness, and a willingness to challenge deeply ingrained beliefs. It asks us to move from seeing ourselves as victims of circumstance to recognizing ourselves as creators of our experience. Every moment of difficulty, every obstacle that tests our patience is an invitation to expand, to learn, and to strengthen our inner resilience. By embracing this mindset, we begin to see challenges not as barriers, but as stepping stones. Failures are no longer final, they are feedback. Setbacks are no longer signs of inadequacy, they are opportunities to refine our strategies, deepen our understanding, and build greater perseverance. This perspective transforms our relationship with discomfort, allowing us to confront it with courage instead of avoidance. Shifting mindset also cultivates emotional mastery. Pain often triggers fear, anger, or frustration, but when we choose to reinterpret these experiences, we reclaim our power. We understand that suffering is temporary, that every difficulty carries lessons, and that our response is the key determinant of our future. This approach does not minimize the intensity of struggle, nor does it pretend that hardship is easy, but it reframes it as fuel for personal evolution. Moreover, adopting a growth-oriented mindset ignites action. Once we see struggle as an ally rather than an enemy, we are motivated to take purposeful steps, to experiment, to persist, and to innovate. We become more resourceful, more adaptive, and more willing to face uncertainty with confidence. This mental shift also influences the energy we project into the world. When we view challenges as opportunities, we attract solutions, support, and inspiration rather than stagnation and despair. The mind becomes a powerful instrument, capable of transforming even the harshest experiences into lessons of strength, resilience, and empowerment. And through this conscious reframing, pain is no longer a weight to bear, but a force to harness in the pursuit of growth and excellence. Within every struggle lies an untapped reservoir of personal power, and recognizing this is the key to transforming hardship into strength. Often, we look outward for solutions, hoping circumstances or other people will rescue us from our pain, but true empowerment comes from turning inward. It begins with the understanding that no external situation has the ability to define our value or limit our potential unless we allow it to. Each challenge, no matter how overwhelming it seems, carries the opportunity to awaken dormant abilities, resilience, and courage. By acknowledging our inherent power, we reclaim ownership of our lives and responses. This is not a passive process. It requires intention, reflection, and deliberate action. When we step into this mindset, we see that adversity is a mirror reflecting our inner strength, inviting us to rise to meet it. Personal empowerment emerges when we shift focus from what is happening to us to what we are capable of creating from within. It is the moment we decide to stop blaming circumstances or waiting for permission to act, and instead take responsibility for shaping our experience. Each small decision, each courageous choice to persist despite fear or discomfort, builds a foundation of confidence that grows exponentially over time. Struggle ceases to be something that diminishes us. It becomes a proving ground, a testing field where our capabilities are honed. Empowerment also involves cultivating self-awareness, the ability to recognize our emotions, patterns, and limitations without judgment. By doing so, we gain clarity about what drives us, what holds us back, and what steps we can take to move forward strategically. This clarity transforms indecision and frustration into purposeful action, and it fuels a cycle of growth and mastery. Furthermore, personal empowerment is deeply connected to self-belief. When we trust our capacity to navigate challenges, we unlock creativity, innovation, and resilience that might otherwise remain hidden. Every obstacle faced and overcome reinforces the truth that we are stronger than our circumstances. The process is cumulative. Each act of courage, each moment of perseverance, and each lesson learned compounds into a powerful force that propels you toward greater achievement. As we internalize this power, we realize that external validation is secondary to the confidence we cultivate from within. By stepping fully into our own strength, we not only survive adversity, but we also harness it, transforming pain into a source of energy, motivation, and direction that can redefine the trajectory of our lives, allowing us to act decisively, live boldly, and claim the life we are capable of creating. Transformation is not a passive journey. It demands action, resilience, and unwavering commitment to moving forward even when the path is uncertain. When faced with pain and struggle, it is natural to feel overwhelmed, to hesitate, or to search for shortcuts that promise relief without effort. Yet, real change, the kind that turns struggle into power, comes from decisive action taken in the face of difficulty. Each step, no matter how small, is a declaration that we refuse to be defined or defeated by our circumstances. Resilience is cultivated through repeated engagement with challenge, through choosing to rise each time we fall, and through embracing discomfort as a necessary companion on the path to growth. It is in the moments when we feel the most vulnerable that the opportunity to strengthen our character and our resolve is greatest. Action and resilience are inseparable, one fuels the other. The willingness to act despite fear or uncertainty builds confidence, and confidence in turn makes future challenges more navigable. Moreover, deliberate action requires clarity and focus. It demands that we identify what is within our control and channel our energy toward those elements rather than being consumed by factors beyond our influence. By doing so, we transform feelings of helplessness into purpose, creating momentum that propels us forward even when the road is steep. Resilience also involves flexibility, the ability to adapt, adjust strategies, and persist when initial plans fail. It is not rigid endurance, but dynamic persistence guided by learning and growth. Each setback becomes a teacher, each obstacle a signal to recalibrate, refine, and continue. Action without reflection is blind, but reflection without action is stagnant. Together, they create a cycle of empowered progress. Taking action also inspires others, demonstrating that struggle is not a barrier, but a proving ground, and that perseverance can illuminate the path for those who follow. Importantly, resilience is not about eliminating hardship. It is about developing the inner strength and skills to navigate it with courage and purpose. Through consistent effort, facing challenges head-on, and refusing to be immobilized by fear, we cultivate a mindset that sees obstacles as opportunities to practice fortitude, sharpen abilities, and expand our potential. Every intentional choice to keep moving forward reinforces the truth that we are capable of more than we often believe, that we possess the power to overcome, and that our struggles are not permanent walls, but stepping stones that prepare us for higher levels of achievement and fulfillment, creating a foundation from which we can rise again and again. Every struggle carries within it the seeds of transformation, and the ability to see this potential is what separates those who remain trapped by adversity from those who rise above it. Pain, while often unwelcome and uncomfortable, is a signal that growth is possible, a call to awaken to the deeper purpose that lies beyond the immediate challenge. When we view hardship through this lens, we begin to see that every difficulty, every obstacle, and every moment of doubt is not an endpoint, but a doorway to something greater. Transformation begins with vision, the ability to imagine what could be on the other side of struggle and to hold that vision firmly even when circumstances seem bleak. This vision acts as a compass, guiding us through uncertainty and providing motivation to persist when fear, frustration, or exhaustion threatens to derail us. Recognizing the opportunity inherent in struggle also encourages us to adopt a proactive stance toward life. Instead of waiting for external forces to change or for circumstances to improve on their own, we learn to harness our pain as a driving force, converting emotional energy into purposeful action. This perspective reshapes the way we respond to setbacks, allowing us to approach challenges not with resignation, but with curiosity, determination, and creativity. Transformation is further fueled by the understanding that struggle is not random or meaningless. It is part of a larger narrative of growth and evolution. Each difficulty encountered offers lessons, insights, and the chance to develop skills that strengthen our character and expand our capacity to achieve. By embracing this mindset, we shift from seeing ourselves as victims of circumstance to recognizing ourselves as architects of our destiny. Moreover, when we approach struggle with a vision of transformation, we cultivate hope and resilience simultaneously. Hope gives us the emotional energy to persevere, while resilience provides the mental fortitude to endure and adapt. Together, these qualities empower us to navigate adversity with confidence and purpose. This approach also inspires innovation and problem solving, as we are compelled to explore new paths, think creatively, and take bold steps that we might otherwise avoid. By seeing struggle as a bridge rather than a barrier, we align ourselves with our highest potential, using each challenge as an opportunity to refine our abilities, clarify our values, and strengthen our determination. In doing so, we transform what once seemed like insurmountable obstacles into catalysts for growth, turning pain into clarity, uncertainty into direction, and difficulty into a powerful force that propels us toward achievement, fulfillment, and a life shaped not by circumstance, but by deliberate choice and vision.